Hey, my name is Dan Bourget with Olhausen Billiards. I'm here to show you today the difference between how to attach the cloth over an indoor rail versus an outdoor rail. So most of you watching this should be very familiar with covering an indoor rail. You use a feather strip, you place the cloth, you secure the cloth with a feather strip, you roll it over and secure with staples on the back. Door table arrives, the rails will be attached but without cloth on the rails. First step in the process is to remove the rails from the pool table. So you remove your rail from your outdoor pool table. Looks much like this. The process is much like doing your indoor rail, where you would attach the feather strip. Here you'll be attaching the cloth along this edge. When it's finished, it'll look like this. So your first goal will be attach the cloth on this side of the rail. The first step in putting the cloth on is to take off the two spacer blocks that are located on each end of your rail, like that. Start by laying out your rail cloth, getting it smooth. Place your rail on top of the cloth. Fold your cloth over, making sure you have enough to reach to the bottom of this channel. In this case, I'm just a little bit too short, so I'm gonna reset that back just a little bit and pull this over, and now I'm looking just about right. The first step is gonna be to attach a few staples at this end, and I do that being very careful not to shoot through the facings. So you'll put in one staple there and another staple next to it, and then put in a third vertically, but tilt your gun so that it's not coming through the facing. So after you have your staples in the first end, the next step is to go all the way to the other end of the rail. Pull your cloth good and tight, making sure your alignment is good. And similar to what you did on the other end, put two more staples in this side and one on an angle, being careful not to go through the facing. If you have the two ends secure, you can go ahead and proceed to put staples in across the entire face, making sure your cloth and the line stays straight. So as you can see, I've stapled this. I've got a staple about every 2 inches along this face. Once you have the cloth attached on the first side of the rail, you can go ahead and put the spacer blocks back in place. So when you're using Sunbrella cloth, it doesn't stretch quite as much as a normal pool table cloth. So we'll do a fold on this corner. We pull the cloth tight, we fold over here, we pull the cloth down, and then we can go ahead and put our staples in.
And then a couple pretty much right up against the edge there.
If we do the corner pocket end, we move to the center pocket, we pull the cloth tight, and we put a few staples in here to hold it in place. Okay, after getting both ends attached and making sure that the cloth looks right and looks straight, we can proceed to install the rest of the staples. And what we like to do is stay, I don't know, an inch or two ahead of where we're going to staple when we're pulling. We don't want to staple right where we're pulling. It could create some waviness. And I will just continue to move a little bit ahead of where I'm stapling. So after we have the entire length stapled, we can flip it over and finish off the corner pocket end. We do that by pulling the cloth, folding it over like this, and we get us a couple staples in there. One in this block here, and one. Okay, after we do the corner pocket end, we're ready to move back to the center pocket. Trick here is to make sure we put a little tension on the cloth and pull it away from the facings before we fold over this edge. That'll keep your line nice and clean. We'll get that set, and we can continue to staple. Put a couple staples here and one in the back of the block here. After you finish stapling the entire rail and the ends, you can then take a razor blade and trim the excess cloth so that you stay away from the fasteners and other areas. So it should look like this when you're done.